Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for January 1st, 2020. Yeah, I'm starting with an intro now. I figured let's be more professional about how we approach this. And today, we are going to talk about one of the leading candidates to succeed Jeremy Corbyn as leader of the Labour Party, and of course usher in a new age for the Labour Party where they'll obviously want to win. Totes. Now, for those who don't know, Rebecca Long-Bailey has been an MP since 2015, where she was preceded by Hazel Blears, who walked away. She won her seat and kept a majority of 32.3%, which is quite well. In 2019, she won her seat again, with a vote share of 56.8%, a reduction of 8.7% on the 2017 election result. She has been touted by many as the now successor to Jeremy Corbyn because Laura Pidcock lost her seat, and she's one of the very few other people who could be considered a valid and worthy contender. By experts, not me. I doubt it because of 4 years in Parliament. It would be quite the rush to get her at the front cause whammon. Now, since she became an MP, in fact very shortly after, she was made Shadow Minister for the Treasury, and in 2016 to 17 became the Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, and then in 2017 Shadow Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy. This is very important because she has been on television a number of times, interviewed by the likes of Piers Morgan and Andrew Neil. During the general election, Andrew Neil destroyed everyone. I thought his toupee might do it, but no, it was actually his questions. He's an insufferable man, but he is very good at getting to the point. And as we all know, Piers Morgan is just a massive twat. During the interview with Piers Morgan, he destroyed her by pointing out how much it would cost during the election to buy back all the key services, with it costing tens of billions alone to buy back water, and Rebecca Long-Bailey claiming that it wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything in the long run to buy back these services, which isn't true in the slightest, and we found this out when the manifesto was released. It would cost hundreds of billions. While your manifesto was costed, oh dear, this was not a good look. And Pierce utterly flayed her for this. Andrew Neil did just as much damage when he asked her about the national grid, when, for example, the market capitalisation of electricity in our country is £40 billion. And when he asked why you want to nationalise this, this was in reference to the fact that a number of details on Labour policies were leaked in a draft manifesto, which led to a very awkward 10-minute exchange, with Rebecca Long-Bailey claiming, "You're going to have to wait and see when our manifesto comes out on Tuesday," which did in fact confirm this, and led to her repeatedly saying, "You're going to have to wait until Tuesday," which tells me you should have just waited until Tuesday for the interview itself. Other issues that came up were the fact that she couldn't explain what trend GDP means on multiple occasions. Wow. Just wow. So now you have all of this information. Rebecca Long-Bailey has made her opening pitch for the Labour leadership, which avoided direct criticism of Jeremy Corbyn by implicitly offering an alternative approach, by making a promise, an oath, a pledge, to champion progressive patriotism. What is that, you ask? I haven't got a clue. Labour's policy is to open the doors, so I'm not entirely sure how patriotism qualifies, unless it is now a distinctly patriotic thing to open your doors to everyone. In her comments, first sort of substantive ones, on the election result, which are the worst in the party's history since 1935, she says that Labour's compromise solution on Brexit was partly to blame, but also that trust was an issue, which she is right. Brexit is to blame because you guys didn't have a position on it, and you were trying desperately to remain. Because we must protect what we currently have because we might not have as much of that in the future, even though we'll still be growing economically. And trust was a huge issue because we couldn't see what you were going to do when it came to tackling anti-Semitism because you were doing nothing, and you had people who were utterly biased dealing with it. Shami Chakrabarti should have a peerage revoked. Without formally announcing her candidature as yet, she has confirmed that she is considering standing and that she would back Angela Rayner, who is the current Shadow Education Secretary for Deputy Leader, because I think she wants to create an all-female, all-working-class joint ticket to appeal to the working class. What you want is all women. That's not how you get the women to vote for you, by the way. I promise you that. People care very little about the sex of the person who's running for office. They're more interested in the policies you intend to put forward and what you intend to attack of the Conservatives and how you intend to, with any kind of substance, do it legitimately. I am, however, somewhat intrigued to see what would happen if she ran. Whether she would maybe have, I don't know, Diane Abbott as Shadow Chancellor, because we all know she does maths like a pro. Whether she would also go down this path of perhaps having an all-female shadow cabinet, which would actually cause more problems for her because of that representation she'd want to champion with her progressive patriotism. I'm very keen to know what you think about this, by the way. Rebecca Long-Bailey is an interesting choice, but I don't think she'll win. The likely candidates to win won't be those that champion too much progressive, but will be those who stand up for the voters they alienated at their last election. Because you've got to win back the trust of those voters, really, don't you? You don't do that with progressiveness. You do that by appealing to what they want. An easier life. That's pretty much it. Good luck, Rebecca. That's all I have to say on that. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm very keen to know what you think. Whether you think she has a valid chance of winning, but also who you think could win instead of her. I think Diane Abbott would be a fantastic option, if only for the next 5 years. Watching her and Boris, oh dear, PMQs would be absolutely amazing.